All right, how you doing? Another edition of Chris's Comments, a show of common sense on common ground. And what I'm gonna say, I mention this because what I'm gonna say sounds a little bit extreme, but it's actually a lot more common sense than you might think it. Okay, this is about the Afghanistanians and the people that are still left behind. Biden and his admin still working on getting all the Americans and their supporters, our American supporters, out of Afghanistan. A lot of people out there that are spitting on Biden and the administration, our military, our government, our country, the media, and all this other crap. All of them are forgetting the simple fact that the Taliban has kidnapped and held hostage Americans and our supporters, and has viciously murdered our people while we were evacuating. They've been attacking us at the same time that we were evacuating. For some oddball reason, nobody's focusing on that. And I don't really know why. Now, the Taliban has held our people against their will because of lack of documentation. I've raised this question. I've raised this subject before. They said they'd rather that everybody stay, but they're willing to let them go if they want to, provided that they have proper documentation, which doesn't make any sense given the fact that there's no such clause that says they can't just leave without it. You know, there's complications brought on by our political leaders. Trump was proof of this. Obama was proof of this. About vetting and all this good stuff. And the Taliban throws this policy out there. But the difference between them and us is that they're doing it to held them against their will, as opposed to blocking out people that are anti-Taliban rule. Okay, they're keeping them against their will, and that's a huge difference here. Why nobody's making that connection, I don't really understand why nobody's pointing that out. But let's go ahead and move that over to one side. Here's the more sickening part about it, is that you've got Taliban that are raiding homes and houses, forcing people to run out, grab their kids, grab their some kind of belongings or whatever, and leave the neighborhood while they're hiding away and all this stuff, dodging bullets from passerbys and all this good stuff. We have Talibans that have ransacked their homes, gone through their belongings, including documentations, taking them, if not flat out destroying them right there. In some cases, in some cities, in some neighborhoods, a variety actually, they've gone as far as doing all of their, destroying their documentations, and then leaving notes behind saying, "We're coming back for you." Okay, now this is a very clear message of sabotage and yet another disruption of letting America take whoever wants to come with us. It's another disruption. The Taliban have been shooting at us. They bombed our airport that we were using to leave. And for some oddball reason, critics are doing nothing but looking at Biden and spitting. You know, we got our people getting killed out there. We've got our people being held against their will. They're being held captive. They're being held hostage. They're being kidnapped. Some are vanishing off the face of the earth. And the only thing that critics can do is just look at Obama. Obama's such a failure. And that's it. I mean, they're just spitting. And that leads me to what this particular segment is about. Every single critic right now is nothing but a person of hate. They're nothing but a person of hate, and they're using this evac as an excuse to continue with their hate. And when you see this, you can clearly see what I'm saying, that they are no different than the people that, like the Taliban, who are viciously murdering people. Why? Because critics here in the States are distracting everybody from the cruelty that the Taliban is doing and focusing on a Democratic president, on a Democrat president. That's it. That's all that they're doing. And that's wrong. They're no different than the people of Taliban. They're no different than people of hate. Every single one of these critics. What needs to be focused are relief efforts, rescue efforts. You know, what needs to be focused on is a pinpoint of where our fellow Americans are and where the supporters of American democracy are. Have them removed, and then we can just annihilate their freaking country, their Kabul and Kandahar and all that other shit. We just annihilate anybody and everybody. The Taliban have been filling themselves at a soccer game, for Christ's sake. Like, oh, we run this area now, everything's great now, everything's wonderful and all this good shit. And they're watching a soccer game take place amongst their own people and all this other stuff. And like recreation on a Saturday or something. But at the same time that they're filming themselves being this civilized people, others are holding our people in captivity, hostage. And the only thing critics amongst our people are doing is looking at Biden. And it's the most idiotic, it's the most disgusting viewpoint that they can do. Because which leads me to this. What's going to happen should Biden actually be removed? What's the next president going to do? So far, every president before Biden has done nothing but talk a lot of shit. They've done nothing but talk. That nobody made the attempt because they knew how much chaos was going to take place. So they didn't do a damn thing. This one did. This one got us out. This one got all of America out, and all that's left are the few that fell behind, and he's working on it right now. He hasn't stopped. Nobody stopped. The military, the government, Joe Biden himself, the administration themselves, they're all still looking into this. So, back to the people who are saying he's a failure and all this stuff. Well, what makes you a person to judge? What makes the haters out there a person to judge? No hater so far. No hater has come up with a solution, a remedy, a plan. Nobody's taken it to the military, the administration, the president himself. Nobody's done anything like that. They've just done nothing but spit. And that's what's wrong. That's what makes them wrong. That's what makes every critic of this world. And this is regardless of whatever status of the subject that they're in. Oh, I was in Taliban. Oh, I was in Afghanistan. I fought these people. You did that. It doesn't matter. If all you do is go over there to blast a couple of Middle Eastern people and watch your own brethren die just to come over here and not even focus on anything concerning the evacuation. Just focus on Biden. Just focus on that Democratic president. Fuck yourself, sir. You just threw out all of your own credibility right out the window. Because you stopped looking at what you were doing. You stopped to look at your heroic, your patriotic duty and all this stuff. And I can say that because I was smart enough to stay out of the way. So I'm not spitting on this president. I'm not spitting on the administration. I'm not spitting on the Department of Defense. I'm not spitting on military. I'm not spitting on anybody else in the European Union and all this stuff, because they're doing exactly what they said they needed to do. They're doing exactly, despite the fact that they knew this was going to happen, chaos and all this other shit. This whole bizwax where Taliban are are filming themselves, letting the press film them at a soccer game. You know, like they're just an ordinary country now. We all knew this kind of hype shit was going to be spread. And so did you. If you did not, then maybe you shouldn't be spitting. Maybe you should just shut the hell up and just go away. Step over to one side the way the rest of us have been doing this entire 20-year span. Step aside and just let the people do their job. Especially you who have actually served, that come over here just to do nothing but spit. To hell with you. To hell with you. You know, patriot, you were there for a check or something. You were there for a military check. That's it. You were there because you wanted to kill people. You know, as far as I'm concerned. That's all that you labeled yourself to be. For the rest of you who are kind of wondering, man, why the hell are you doing this? Why are you saying that right now? Fine, I'll calm down. And I'll get right back to the actual subject, the evacuation in Afghanistan. The majority of the country that was on our side has been removed. Some are coming over here to the States. Some are coming here to Texas. And I say, that's good. I say it's about time. There's a few that got lost back there. There's a few that fell behind. And that's a very bad thing. But I don't resort to hate. I resort to hope. And I'm looking at what our president and our administration and what our government is doing, what the UN is doing. And currently, they're all at a standstill, or they're stumped a little bit, but they're still not giving up. And that makes all the difference in the world. That makes all the difference out there. And every hater just needs to shut up. Plain and simple. Or hey, better yet, come up with a solution yourself. You're so fucking smart. He's such a damn failure. Everybody out there that's talking is doing nothing but talk shit. How about talking about a solution? How about throwing a plan out there? How about throwing out a fucking solution, or any kind of tactic? Any kind of tactic that is actually liable. That actually works. Instead of just bitching. Instead of just commenting and bitching about this or that, about Biden. Something that's got very little to do with the evacuation. Bitching. Take that shit out someplace else with that shit. Right now we're going in history. We're America, global history, and we're dealing with the subject of an evacuation amongst a very combative terroristic hate group backed by its own brainwashed extreme religion, which has nothing to do with the actual Islamic religion. The actual Islamic religion is a very peaceful religion. The extremists that are now currently preaching quotations out of their Quran, they are making it an extremist religion. And again, to a combative terroristic group, to a combative terroristic organization of hate. That is also what's being recorded in our history right now. That's also what's coming. That's the main thing right there. And what's also being recorded are the people that are just absolutely worthless with their hate and spewing a bunch of crap. Somebody like me is somebody that doesn't belong in the history of the pages. I'm the one that stood aside. However, I am watching and I'm remembering. I am remembering everything that's going on right here. So my history, my statements are also now in history. And what this guy who's been standing to one side this entire time, taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture, is saying is that currently one presidential administration is doing something good with this. Over the previous administrations, who just downright sucked. That's a historical fact. And that's what I'm saying right now. It's common sense thinking on a common ground way of living. Taking a step back, watching dismal failure after failure, tackling this subject of Afghanistan and the war that's been going on for 20 years now. One president took care of it. One. He's pulled us all out. And currently, at September 6, 2021, he's still working on trying to get the last of those that fell out. And it's not a lot. It's like about 200 to 300 people. And that's if they're still alive. Currently, we don't really know. And obviously, it's going to take a small while to find them. Or at least find out what happened to them. It's more than likely that we're only going to be looking at 100 and change. Mostly because of the simple fact, once again, the Taliban is captivated, held hostage, and have made a few people disappear. Some of them are our own people. The rest are supporters. Supporters who have helped us. Supporters who have helped the UK. Supporters who have helped the German army. Supporters that have helped the French. And then to top it all off, the Taliban, the Afghan government, as they like to say it, is getting supported by the CCP. China. The CCP that runs China right now, known for taking people, starting with their own people, killing them, selling their body parts, selling their organs, because it's big business. They've done it to over 200,000 people of their own people. And now they get a chance to do it to Americans and American supporters, you know, if they get a chance to come into Afghan territory. These are people this is an organization that's backing up a Taliban, a hate organization. You know, and mostly for CCP, it's mostly for profit. It's mostly for profit. For the Taliban, it's by way of religious extremism. And everybody here in the States are criticizing Biden. Out of all the stupid things to be criticizing, out of all the dumb things to do, I should say, that is an act of hate that makes you no different than the Taliban and the CCP themselves. No different. You're assholes, and you need to shut up. You need to shut up, and you need to show support to our to the one president that actually has carried this out. And if you can't, then you know what? Go to China, join the CCP, or go to Afghanistan, join the Taliban. They're the ones that will agree with you. They're the only ones that are on your side. The rest of us, keep hope, keep faith, keep the faith, keep trying to hope that everything turns out sooner rather than later. Sooner, hopefully, more than later. That we get the full account of the 200 to 300 that were left behind, and the 200 to 300 that you know, that we get a count, and that we can actually finalize, you know, bringing them over here, whether dead or alive, and hope that we can put an end to this at God's speed with the best recovery. Because that's what this guy is doing. You know, I'm not a G.I. Joe. But I'm not a person of hate either. I'm a person that's using a lot of hope, that's thinking of a lot of hope and prayer, keeping a lot of hope and prayer. That now that we finally have somebody pulling everybody out, that we can get the last of them out, as soon as possible as well, so that we can recollect, reorganize, and carry on. And then, and as well as with the same as the migrants over there that we're accepting down south of the border, or down at the border. Honestly, we really need a lot of hope and prayer for them as well. I am to understand that there's another wave coming soon from, I can't remember, but it's not Mexico. They still haven't made it to Mexico. But there's another wave. It's not as large as the 200,000 to 300,000 people, but it's up there. It's in the tens of thousands, getting closer and closer to 100,000. So that's it for this particular segment. I really hate that. There's a lady jogging right now. She's beautiful, but she's got this little pup that looks like it's ready to keel over, and I can't stand fuckers like that. I really wish that she would go away, or get a bigger dog that can handle this kind of jogging. Anyway, that's the thing right now, and it's done right in front of this cop that just passed by. What the frack? You can't do something about that? Anyway, this back to this subject. Let's all keep the faith and keep hopes up that Biden is doing a good thing as far as bringing all of the last of the people that are left behind there, because the evacuation is complete. We made the deadline. It's not a fully successful one. True. We've got the Taliban that are destroying documentations of people after ransacking their houses, even if they don't hurt the people that live there. We've got the Taliban that are taking hostage and holding people captive, and currently have vanished off the face of the earth. They're MIA right now. For right now. So let's keep the faith, let's keep our prayers going, and hope that the Biden administration, because the previous administrations hadn't done diddly squat, this one has. So let's hope that he keeps doing it. Let's hope that he keeps getting those people out. The last of them. Okay? This is Chris Cummins. Stay safe out there. We still got a Delta variant going on. For those that don't remember, it's the one that's labeled more clingier than its predecessor, the original COVID-19. The Delta variant clings onto you a little bit more easier than its original form, than it did when it was in its original form. So keep staying safe out there. Wear the mask. It doesn't stop the virus, but it does reduce the spread when it gets caught in your mask. If you could get away with making one, particularly one with a pocket, you get yourself something like a napkin or a coffee filter. You spray your disinfectant on it. I got a napkin. Put it in a pocket of the mask that you made. Home is where you park it, says the thing. I got it because of that slogan. You don't have to do it my way. I did it respirator style. And the inner flap, so your glasses or sunglasses don't fog up. A lot of people have been getting it with the while wearing their glasses or sunglasses, and it fogs up. But if you get a little flap, if you make it with a little flap, you're good. I can see crystal clear. I should have bought glasses a long time ago. But yeah, when you're breathing in the disinfectant air, back to the original reason why I brought it back up, you're actually keeping the virus, you're preventing the virus from going up your nostrils or in your mouth. And that's a good thing, you know. And by doing it this way, once again, by putting it in a pocket and spraying the napkin or coffee filter in it, you're also keeping from your mouth and skin from touching the actual chemical. You don't want to touch the chemical, but you do want to breathe in. You do want to breathe it. Why? Because it's disinfected air that you're breathing. Common sense. Common sense, people. Use it. This subject is concerning the Biden evacuation, Afghan evacuation, and all the haters that are no different than the Taliban. The next segment is going to be coming up later on today. It's about the Texas anti-abortion law. It's something that I still believe that I have to hit it, and using my common sense, common ground stuff, I'm going to be talking about it through a religious level. That's a very touchy subject for a lot of people, because it feels like it's an invasion of their beliefs and all this other garbage. But I happen to be a Christian. I happen to have faith in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I happen to have a little bit of studies and all this good stuff through the church and church organizations and how it works. Now mine is through the Catholic church, which is fine, because the trouble that has been caused by churches and concerning abortion, it's freaking stupid. And one of those churches was the Catholic Church. So I'm going to be bringing that up in my next program a few hours from now. Right now, I'm out of time. And it might not be on YouTube. It might actually be on my Anchor podcast. Because here I'm only given about half an hour. And Anchor lets me talk for a full hour. And I've got quite a bit to say. So y'all take care. Stay safe. This is Chris's Comments. Out.